welcome to yet another episode of Nerds with Badges. Today is, I can't believe it's already January the 28th. It just seems like this month is like just flying by. I don't know if my voice might sound a little weird. I'm just getting over a cold. I had to take a few days off of work actually. I went to North Carolina and man, I tell you, everybody in the airport was sneezing, coughing, blowing their nose, and most of the people that were coughing and sneezing were not covering their mouths. Um, yeah, so I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah, a few days after I got back, I started feeling like a little, and I guess it just caught up with me because I've been just kind of stressed out about some things in life. I mean, just life, worrying about my comics, my that I have in production, my podcast, films that I have in production. It was nice to see my family again. And then I had a friend who's really like my family that I hadn't heard anything from since we had these crazy fires over here. And I was really worried about that. I was just kind of stressed over that. And I went over to the guy's house, tried to get in touch with him. We didn't really have any mutual friends that I had contact with. So, after not hearing from this guy for a few weeks, I called I called 911 and had them go over to the house to do a wellness check because I went over to the apartment complex and I couldn't get inside. And the neighbors said that everybody had come back after the fire. They were in the red zone, I guess, so they evacuated that area because one of my buildings that I work in was in the area and they had shut the building down. So I didn't know what was going on with this guy. He was not on social media. Not returning my texts or my calls. So I was just worried. I just had this feeling that something was wrong. So um, I, after a few weeks of putting it off, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I called the police, and they went over the house. They were there to get in touch with his roommate and a family friend, a family member actually. And I found out, lo and behold, I guess right around Christmas time, shortly after, he ended up going to the hospital. So he's in the hospital right now. So I would have never known if I hadn't done that. I mean, nobody called me or anything. They said they couldn't get into his phone because his voicemail, it was full when I kept calling, but apparently they don't have the codes. Nobody has the codes, passwords to get into his phone. So they say, I was told by his family member that he's out of, he's doing better now. He's in a much better place than he was before. So that was like just really good to find out because I was just really, whew. And then the inauguration happened. Elon Musk did his thing. I don't know what was going on with that. I don't know what I'm supposed to think. Yeah, and Donald Trump became president again. And I think a lot of people were just wanting things to change. I still can't believe that January 6th actually happened. I mean, that was just crazy. But I guess it's just a wake up call, a reminder of the world that I live in. Maybe just so radically different from the world that some other people might live in. Um, there's a lot of the deportations is becoming a big thing. They're doing a lot of that. A lot of people are getting deported. There's been a lot of ripple effects. And it's just crazy. I mean, it really feels like the whole world has just gone completely bonkers. So I'm just thankful that I have my video games, my comic books, my movies, and my all my things in the nerd culture. To just kind of help me just to tune out all this stuff because man, it just gets so overwhelming sometimes. I think just thinking about all the stuff that's happening right now is just enough to be to get anyone stressed out. I mean, the fires was just such a big thing. It's just a big thing. It just kind of came out of nowhere, and a lot of people lost their homes, lost everything. Neighborhoods was wiped out. My favorite radio station, basically, KUSC, classical station I listen to all the time. I was barely getting reception because I guess one of their stations or one of their antennas or something was damaged, but it was like really staticky. It's just I think today was really the first time it wasn't really staticky. Yesterday or today, I was able to listen without it just being really staticky. So I guess they fixed the problem. But I don't know, these fires just for a long time. I remember when I first came to LA. I remember like I think it was around I was when I was homeless. I was living in the Salvation Army, and I remember these fires were happening. I think it was Malibu. This might have been around 95, 94 ish, and all these fires were happening, and celebrities' homes were getting destroyed, and there was some people in the shelter that were actually like happy, and I was just like, man, you know what? That's just people losing their homes and stuff. You'd be happy about that, just celebrating people's misfortune. And I know there was there's a lot of speculation about these fires. I know that at one point there was some legal action taken against, I guess it was an electrical company. Then there were people starting the fires, and it got to the point where saying we were having these fires like constantly. Then it just kind of like stopped, and we just got rain the other day. So man, if we had gotten this rain, because these fires have just been burning over the last few weeks. This has been really crazy. We really need the rain like weeks ago. Um, so yeah, and it's gotten kind of cool over here in LA, but it's really nothing compared to how cold it was when I was in Colorado. I had layover in Colorado when I was coming back from North Carolina. Um, I can't remember exactly what happened, but the flight was delayed. So we had to lay over. The flight was supposed to be at like I think 10:30 or something, and it ended up being much later, maybe around 12 o'clock ish. I didn't get home until like 3 o'clock that morning, and LAX is just so crazy. You got to like go to this area to get picked up. Um, so Ubers and the Lyft can't come, taxis can't come pick you up anymore. But man, when I was in Denver, Colorado, we had to go outside and wait, and they had us on this like it's kind of a smaller plane. Everybody was waiting in line. There was a lot of people, and we had to stand out there. We stood out there for about it feels like about 10 minutes. It was really cold. I mean, it was freaking. I think it was like 17 degrees outside. I haven't felt that kind of cold in a long time. I'm from North Carolina. I grew up in New York, so I'm no stranger to cold weather. But man, I tell you, um, it's something else. And I guess a lot of people that are not used to that kind of weather, man, like especially people that I work with that will turn the damn thermostat up to 90 degrees. If it's just 75 degrees outside, they'll turn the thermostat up. I mean, just yeah, that was something else. So it was nice seeing family again, and I definitely considering what happened with my friend. It really, I just have learned the importance of time, spending time with and being in contact with people. Because like if an emergency happens, who is going to call who and let them know, that type of thing. And then it's important to call and check in on people, check in physically or to the internet, or call them, check in on people, especially people that are close to you, because you never know, something happens, especially if it's older people, relatives. So yeah, I'm definitely making it my business to call at least once a week to check in on my parents. And as a matter of fact, I'm due to do that tomorrow. I got to keep in mind there's a 3 hour time difference between North Carolina and I guess Florida as well. So I can't call over there at 7 o'clock in the morning. Here it'll be like 4 o'clock over there or something. I have been working on my comic book. My next comic book project is going to be coming out pretty soon, and things are kind of stalled a little bit on my animated project, but I'm trying to get that back. Having a meeting next week, hopefully, with the animator and the director of the animation, and I I'm trying to get a meeting with the director, cinematographer for my film project that has been kind of like on hiatus. We were actually supposed to start filming last year and it didn't happen. But I'm doing a soft reboot of my Sons of Legend thing. I've been thinking a lot lately about maybe just doing a Satchwatch in the Mythology Sisterhood comic movie to tie in with everything that I'm doing with the comic and the cartoon would be a good way, But I think Sons of Legend is where I started, and I need to go back to that. Just kind of sometimes to get inspiration for the present and the future. Sometimes it's good to go back. I mean, I don't know. It's just the only way I can really say is like sometimes, sometimes you got to look at who you were, you know, to who you are. You look at who you were to give you inspiration to go on to better things. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but someone said that you are who you were. And when I look back at some of my older stories and ideas, it's the same as looking at people's music. Their older music sometimes is better than the newer stuff. And maybe there might even have been like songs that they never did, they didn't finish, and then go back and finish it. Same thing with stories. I have a lot of good story ideas, and some story ideas that I want to redo, and some story ideas that I haven't gotten around to doing. And so I have a lot. I feel like I've got a lot of catching up to do, and it can feel a bit overwhelming. I got to look into the whole LLC thing, like having my own business. Excuse me. I really don't want to do the whole 9 to 5 much longer. I mean, I will do it because you got to have money to pay the bills. But I would love to be at a point in my life where I have more control over my life, my schedule, instead of just having somebody else kind of like looking over my shoulder all the time and telling me what to do and controlling me. I don't know, maybe it's just age. When you get to a certain age, you want to be more independent. But yeah, man, I'm just I have material, and I gotta be more aggressive in getting it out there, finding my niche, finding my audience. So when I look at the stuff that I post on social media, for example, when I post stuff on Twitter, I don't really get a lot of feedback. YouTube, Instagram, it's just pretty much almost non-existent. TikTok seems to be the one that's working where I get more views. So I gotta look at the demographics, the type of contents that I'm putting out. But I want to put out stuff that I definitely feel passionate about. Um, so it's like a lot of things you gotta take into consideration. I love being a nerd and talking about nerd culture and stuff, but at the same time, I want to be able to like make money off of this stuff. Make a living off of my art, my craft, what I offer. And so it's important to know who is going to be supporting you. Where the support is coming from. Some things don't work. Then you got the algorithm thing. I don't really know how that works exactly. It seems like it's a big secret or something. But they say when you post frequently, that's a big part of it. And thumbnails are important. And what they call it, hashtags are also important as well. That's something I had to learn. So yeah, it is a science, which is why I guess not everybody can do it. And then you have people that just will just post crazy stuff just to get clicks and likes and subscriptions. I mean, so I'm not gonna knock nobody's hustle. But man, when I see some of the content that some people put out, I'm like, oh my god, people actually watch that. Somebody actually paid to produce this, and I'm having such a hard time getting my stuff. So this is things you look at everything, and you just kind of take knowledge. You learn, you just observe. But I think it's important to be true to who you are, what you're doing. Since Jody Watley said it, it's not always about the money. Uh, I mean, it's good. Money is definitely important. Somebody also told me once, money can't buy happiness, but it covers a lot of territory. So you gotta have balance. You definitely want people to support you, buy your content, whatever. But at the same time, you gotta have passion for what you're doing. Because if you're not doing it with passion, then I think there's a problem. So you gotta find the balance. It is a business, but at the same time, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, if you're really not feeling it, I think sometimes people lose track of that. That's just my opinion. So this year, 2025, I'm really looking forward to getting a new laptop because this MSI laptop. I've been using this thing now. I've had this thing now probably about maybe at least 6 years, It's definitely getting long in the tooth, and it's time for me to upgrade. I might have actually had this thing for 8 years now that I think about it. I think I've had this computer almost as long as I've had my Nintendo Switch, but it's an MSI laptop, and I want to get something more powerful that can run games at optimal settings. So I'm like, I made my New Year's resolution was that I was gonna get a new laptop, more powerful laptop, preferably Alienware, when I got my taxes done this year. So I'm still waiting to get my taxes done. Um, 'Cause, yeah, it's just it's a pain when you're trying to play games and they're struggling. Games tend to be more optimized better on consoles, but you're still getting the frame rate maybe like 30 frames per second, and even the handhelds, and which don't really need to be too powerful. Because I know the new MSI Claw is like 32 gigs. That thing is like a monster, but it's the price is like, man, it's like 900, almost like $1,000, I think, almost $1,000. And then you got the Asus ROG Ally X that just came out recently. You got all these different handhelds coming out. These things are like the price of like the laptops, man. I'm just not gonna spend $1,000 on a handheld. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Um, I've seen a new one by Asus. I think it's the Asus ROG Strix or something. It looks like a tablet, and it's like I think it's like 13 inches. It's like a powerhouse. But the thing is like I think it's like almost $2,000. I mean, it definitely could play everything. It would be really nice and compact. I can carry it around with me when I travel. But man, that price. So I'm looking at something in the range of 1,200. Something I can get that will last me for at least 10 years. I can get a lot of. I mean, my Nintendo Switch has just really been a good, dependable. I got to give it to Nintendo. They make dependable hardware. So this MSI laptop, I mean, it's definitely been through. I mean, I've had some issues with it. I had to fix it a few times. Had to get it fixed. Upgraded the memory, the storage. I learned a lot with this laptop. So I mean, maybe MSI might be the. Maybe I should stick with the MSI brand. But like I said, I don't want to get another handheld because I think I have enough of those. There's a lot of handhelds coming out, and a lot of new laptops that are coming out now, especially with the integration of AI, which is really good because you got frame generation, which will make the games look better, help it perform better, and the AI will definitely help in how the characters react in the game, how the bad guys attack you. The AI is still relatively new technology, but I'm really excited to see what it can do for gaming. So I definitely want to make sure that I get something that's integrating AI and it's not just like slapped on, just is actually contributing something. So uh, one thing about buying computers though is when you the older stuff is always like heavily discounted. So there's like a lot of really good deals on stuff from 2024. If I look around, especially some holidays coming up right now, we got some holidays coming up. President's Day coming up. Usually you can get really good sales. And I check Amazon. I tend to use Amazon for everything almost, but Best Buy, sometimes Best Buy and Target can shock you with some really good prices. So I'm looking forward to sometime next month. I will definitely have a new laptop because this one is having issues with RAM and also storage. I mean, I could probably upgrade it, but still would not be, it still would be limited with the technology of the time. This laptop came out probably about 10 years ago, so it's definitely not able to take advantage of some of the newer technologies. I mean, there's some things they could do with the software, I guess, to give it some. I mean, I could very well keep this laptop and play it for probably another 10 years. I take good care of it, but it's still going to be limited with certain features that will be in newer technology. Like this laptop cannot do like ray tracing, which is a thing. It can't do ray tracing. I was playing Metaphor Fantasio. I think that's the new. I've been playing this game a lot. It just came out by Sega Atlas. And it's like an RPG game. Every time I play it on my laptop, I try to do like gameplay recordings. I'm only getting like I get like part of the screen. I don't know why it does that. I think it's a RAM issue. So I'm only getting, and it does that with certain games too. I think it's because of the memory. So that is definitely is an issue. So yeah, it's I will probably keep this thing forever, but I think it would be really good to have a powerful laptop that I can take with me on trips, and I can really enjoy games the way that they're meant to be. As far as consoles go, I'll probably get a Nintendo Switch too eventually, but I think I'm done buying Xbox and PlayStations. Um, I don't know. I feel like I might eat my words at some point, but I don't. Just trying to keep up with everything, which I've been trying to game on all platforms. I've been doing it, but it just gets to be tiresome after a while. So I have my PC, and then maybe I have my Switch. I already have enough. I feel like I have enough. I got quite a collection of consoles, and so I think I'm also tired of having to pay for internet for online. PlayStation, you got to pay for online. You got to pay for PlayStation. You got to pay for Xbox and Nintendo. PC does not charge you to pay to play games online. And there's a lot of free games all the time. I'm not talking about demos, I'm talking about actual free games. Epic gives away free games all the time. I mean, my backlog is just crazy. Steam doesn't really give away free games, but they have such a large variety and you can get really good deals. And there's a lot of demos too that you can play. And you know that when you buy a game on your PC, you can be able to play that game 20, 30, 50 years from now. Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, I don't know. Maybe Xbox because they're future proofing their platform. But I don't know about PlayStation and Nintendo. Like, were those cartridges going to work on the next Switch? And I've been hearing rumors about PlayStation. It says rumors that they may be discontinuing the support for the physical media. And I really try to buy physical media when I can. I think it's important because it's yours. It's yours. When you buy physical media, you want to play it, you pop it in, it works because you got updates and patches and things. But if it's a digital only, if you ever delete that, you need to go back to download it. If you can't re-download it for whatever reason, then you're just screwed. So I know DVDs sometimes they do wear, they break or whatever. Um, Digital is probably a viable way of future proofing your media, but at the same time, you got to make sure you back it up because the company ever goes out of business, or if they ever lose the rights, then you can't re-download that movie or game or music that you bought. So those are things to keep in mind. Probably best to buy physical and digital copies of things. A lot of Blu-rays and HD DVDs. Like half an hour left. A lot of these, like what I think Oppenheimer. I think that came with a digital copy as well. So a lot of times they will give you that's a really good idea. So I'm looking forward to some new games coming out. Also, this 2025 there's a game coming out I'm really interested in called South of Midnight. It's an Xbox game. Avowed looks like it's gonna be good. I don't know about the new Assassin's Creed. Um, I have never finished any of those games, to be quite honest. I want to go back and just start at the beginning, but I'm a little intimidated because there's so many right now. I mean, but yeah, there was some controversy over Yosuke, the black samurai that's featured in the game. I mean, my take on all that is like what, when is anything ever historically accurate completely? In fiction that's based on something that actually happened. Um, so I don't know. I just think people get bent out of shape over this stuff. It's just like it's ridiculous. I mean, it's a game. It's make believe. It's fantasy. Like it's yeah. So just get over it. I mean, I don't know. There's just more things in life worth getting upset about and just bitching about. That's just me. I mean, will I buy the game? Maybe when it goes on sale, I might buy it and play it. But it's not like something. I mean, I'm not gonna rush out to get it. I'm like I said, I'm trying to work on my backlog, but I like, I'm more into like magical adventure. I like the cutesy game, the cute type games too. But Assassin's Creed is, it just never really, it didn't really, I don't know, wasn't never really that interested. I do remember playing the first game. I think I played the one also where you're a black guy on the ship. That was a while ago. Um, but I'm excited about games like Doom, Onimusha, South of Midnight, Avowed. I'm definitely interested in Fable. God knows whenever that comes out. The next Mario game, the next Mario Kart game, Sonic the Hedgehog, um, whatever kind of Batman game we end up getting. Um, but Assassin's Creed just never really did much for me. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. So I guess I'm just what I'm really saying is I really don't care much about it. But I mean, I'm a gamer. I will pretty much try any kind of game. Um, I will give it a chance. But certain genres are just kind of like I'm just Kingdom Hearts really got me into RPGs, and I guess Final Fantasy. And I started playing this metaphor. I can't say the name. This metaphor Fantasio game that just came out. My God, I'm pretty sure I will actually finish it too. So I've been trying to play that daily, and that's what I'm going to be doing right after I finish this video. But I wanted to just make this video because I felt like there was a lot I need to say, and I think it's good for me to do these videos more frequently, maybe at least once a week. Try to do a video, but I'm looking forward to the next big Nerds with Badges video that I'll be doing. I'm going to this thing. It's called Collecticon with Waka Flocka. I really don't know much about the artist, but I know it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be like comics, games, collectibles, all types of things. So I want to go and do a video on that. But I want to do something bigger and better. Then learning more as I do these videos. How presentation, um, really, they say with consistency you get better. But I don't like to look back at my older stuff. But I definitely see room for improvement, and I know I'm getting there gradually. I can get better equipment. I can hire people to help me with certain things, technical issues, and all that. So yeah, Nerds with Badges is gonna go some places. I mean, it will definitely get better, and probably by next year, these types of videos, when I look out, be night and day compared to what I'll be doing then, the quality. So, I just, if anybody out there is thinking about doing these kind of videos, don't be discouraged. You'll just learn, and you'll find your groove, and you'll get better over time. So I'm going to get out of here for now for January 28th, 2025. I'm going to go and play some games for a while and enjoy the next 20 minutes before my shift starts here at work.